did have a lot of impact until, of course, we know what happened there. We will not speak of it this morning. This conveners of a Take It Back protest, I'm wondering, could it also be that one of the reasons the police, the police did warn that, the protest shouldn't go on, even though, of course, the people defied the police's request? Could it be because of the people that are backing Take It Back movement? For instance, yesterday in Abuja, it was Shorore that was leading that. Is that a bit of a controversy? And could it be the reason the police and the government are on edge about the protest?
The reason the police and the government are on edge about the protest is simple. They know that the people have genuine agitation. And the government has not been able to address it. Otherwise, there's no way the police would have said, don't go on protest. The duty of the police is to ensure that the protest does not go out of hand.
Okay.
Is to ensure that the protesters are protected. Is to ensure and lives, That's what the video of the police. The police would have been able to guard, not to gag the people, protect them, and be sure they are properly protected. Now, you see, sometimes, like I've stated some parts in other programs, I said, the idea of bringing up counter-protesters while the protesters are on is planting crisis. So whoever that does that is the person that is actually planting the crisis. You now go and get somebody say, these people say, we are hungry, and that person say, we are not hungry. At the same time, why don't you come out on your own and say you are not hungry, so that people will know that today you are protesting that you are not hungry. These are so the government should also look at the way they are playing their roles, in making up, in fueling this crisis when protests come. Protests are not supposed to generate into crisis. In fact, sometimes it looks like a carnival, like the one that they had in 2012.
Yeah.
The protest in 2012 was quite massive, and it never degenerated into crisis. Nobody died as a result. But it was actually funded because the government didn't plant. Other people would have said, we want fuel subsidy. Another person would say, we don't want fuel subsidy. That was in 2012.
Okay, you talked about the government roles in all of the protest, but then I want to go to the police. Do you think that the police has proper orientation on how to cater to protesters when a protest happens in Nigeria? Because over time we've seen a lot of back and forth with tear gas and all of that.
I've been very much skeptical about the orientation of the police. You see, I will also link the government to it. You see that sometimes, most times, these institutions are underfunded. They don't go for trainings. If you put up training and say you want to train the police, you will see that there may not be any fund for it. And where you get knowledge is from training. Is you read, you listen, you hear, you get a lot of knowledge. So if you go and see somebody whose supposed primary role is to get gun, and he doesn't even have the gun, and then you are sending him, okay, we want to train you on how to manage protests. You look at it, this is good, but that's the end of it all. He doesn't have fund. And they're telling him that, okay, each person that will attend the training will pay 5,000 naira or 10,000 naira. He doesn't have the fund. It's not part of his budget. Even if he puts it in his budget, he may not scale through. If he scales through, the funds may not be released because it's not enough to scale through. It was the funds available so that they can go for training. Our police, not only the police, civil service, judiciary, they don't go for trainings. You see them paying lip service to capacity building. There's no capacity building going on in this country. Find out from the budget how much the government approved for capacity building for the police, and for other security agencies. Nothing.
Well, the police, the president actually has said that they will engender better modern police force. That's what the president has pledged. And another thing that, comes to question, I think, in this conversation about the protest is the fact that the police did mention that the government designated this same day yesterday as National Police Day. So that is another reason they said it was unacceptable for the protest to be carried on the same day that the government has approved the National Police Day.
Yeah, to me, that's even the best day to carry out a protest. The protest is meant to disrupt things.
Yeah, but is it fair to disrupt the police,
Yes,
National Police
it's
Day?
even fair. That is, if it's a President Day, it's even fair.
But the National Police Day is not the government,
It's government day. That's the day police, the people will hear. Police will hear. Everybody will hear. You do your protest where people will hear you.
Right.
But you don't do your protest in your bedroom. So if there's any event that you could capture, it's not as if they're going to
use
stop
to
them
your
from
own
what they're doing.
advantage.
Yes, take it to your advantage. Let your voice be heard.
Wow. Okay. If you're just tuning in, this is Spotlight on Super 92.7 FM. We are looking at the protests that, defied the police yesterday and went on across Lagos, Rivers, Abuja, Oyo, and so on. Police operatives on Monday disrupted the protests organized by Take It Back movement over the proclamation of a state of emergency in Rivers State. They alleged the misuse of Cybercrime Act and the hardships of the country. So the attacks on the protesters were said to have triggered condemnation from different various groups, including Amnesty International. Of course, they criticized the action as a serious violation of human rights, stressing that the police, or the people rather, have the right to assemble and associate with others. On the flip side, there is, the protesters have said that they will reconvene. They're definitely coming back. We hear that the organizers and supporters of the Take It Back protest, who were dispersed with tear gas by operatives of the Rivers State Police Command, have vowed to reconvene in their quest for justice, declaring that freedom has never been free. They were addressing journalists at the National Labour Congress Secretariat in Port Harcourt after the protest on Monday was forcefully halted. The former spokesman of civil society organizations in Rivers State, Solomon Lenu, emphasized that peaceful protest is constitutional right of every Nigerian citizen. Seeing what happened yesterday, do you think it will make sense for them to still go back again and reconvene? I mean, lives are at stake at this point. After tear gas, what else are they going to use? We hear that there were choppers yesterday on ground, just waiting to do something. Is this not... I'm afraid that we're already crying about the hardship. Should we also start crying about, lives of people?
Well, you had a conviction there that freedom has never been free, and I totally agree. Not even economic freedom. People pay high price to get their freedom economically, politically, religiously. You have to pay for the price of whatever freedom you are seeking for. And look at the conviction. You can always destroy a lot of things, but you don't destroy people's conviction because the conviction is buried inside them. So that's why you see them, they will have to continue in their agitation. No matter how much you have used tear gas, that's the smallest. Sometimes they use live bullets. During the EndSARS, like you mentioned earlier, you saw it. At a point, they had to use live bullets and kill people for their conviction. Same thing may happen here. And sometimes the security agencies, they have that orientation that if the people sparse, if the people gather and you are trying to disperse them and they are not dispersing, you can try to use 1 or 2 or 3 people, kill 1 or 2 or 3 people, and then others will run away. And that's a very wrong orientation. They do it intentionally. They will set up their gun and they make sure by the time you see 2, 3 people that drop dead, then others will now run away. But that's a very bad, that's a black nation's idea. It doesn't happen in advanced countries. You don't need to bring anybody down. You listen to the people. Sometimes the people have a time frame within which they want to protest. You make sure that within that time frame, if they say it's 30 days, let them be there for 30 days. Who funds them? It's not you. However they manage to be there, let them be there. That is the challenge you have there. Our people have the bad orientation, and then as a result of that, they trample on the right of the people. This is a right, it's a fundamental right. You don't beat a child and you say the child should not cry. So you allow them to cry. They are crying. Hear them out. See why they are crying. And you even know why they are crying. If they are saying that it's hardship, is it not true? If they are saying that the Cybercrime Act is being abused, being used, and then it's almost becoming dictatorial, is it not true? If they are saying that you remove the sitting government, the entire government structure in Rivers State and replace it with military that Nigerians have rejected in the past, is it not true? So you allow them to cry. That's the situation now.
Okay, I
Allow
mean,
them to cry.
there's something I saw about the misuse of Cybercrime Act, but we'll take we need to take a quick break. But before then, you can call in on the conversation, be a part of it. 0705 6900927, 0705 6900927. You can also send us a WhatsApp message on that same number, 0705 6900927, or you can text us on 0903 714 2798. Now, I see something about the misuse of the Cybercrime Act. Well, I mean, I definitely was doing that research quickly and then said that the Act is to provide the prohibition, prevention, detention, response, investigation, and prosecution of cybercrimes and for other related matters. I mean, I know we were talking about hardship, but then how did the cybercrime conversation get into this?
Well, this is a very good question. It's not our say. We're quoting, of course, a power that be, as it were. We're quoting the spokesman for civil society organizations in Rivers State, Solomon Lenu, who emphasized that peaceful protest is constitutional right of every Nigerian citizen, but has gone also to say that yes, this the government has said that this is a cybercrime act.
All right, let's take this quick call.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Mr. Sars from Journalist Estate.
Thank you for calling. Please go ahead with your thoughts on Spotlight.
Yeah, what do you call it? Your analyzer there, whatever. It's in fact, it's really hitting the nail on the head. I love what all he's been saying, and that is the gospel truth. I was an activist.
Okay.
My name then in the university is known as compressing the oppressors. You see, we've done. I'm no more 50. I'm above 60. Going. You see, I get bitter when I see what is going on in this country now. What we protested in our own time was removal of food subsidy. If some of you know about it, all these food subsidies started from food subsidy. During then, we used 20 kobo for meal ticket in all the better tertiaries. Now, what we're seeing now, in a nutshell, if some of you can Google and find out, yes, Los Danjuma said the APC government have declared war in Nigeria, and we're still talking about voting. Go and find out. Look at what is happening everywhere. Benue, Plateau, people are killed in Nigeria as if not. So why would police tear gas people here and there? And we kept quiet. And Showore, I doff my hand off for him. Ganifa is late, but his spirit is groaning. They are not just saying Showore. Things are going to happen. If they like, let them belong to different occultic things to rule Nigeria. What is people ruling Nigerians are occultic men and women.
Wow.
That's you.
Well, let's. We cannot put that out there on radio because there is no particular proof.
Okay. I retract that.
Thank you.
That. But what is going on now? Do we like our children? Will they like it when they come up tomorrow? Something has to be done.
Thank you.
I repeat again. Los Danjuma said the APC have declared war in Nigeria. Look at all the killing all over. This is silent annihilation of other tribes. That's why the whole thing is happening. Herdsmen now, military, they are more powerful than. They've never seen any herdsmen that have been arrested and prosecuted. Rather, somebody who tries to defend himself from herdsmen and kill the herdsmen is being jailed. What a country. It will get that revolution now by Showore, it will come to pass. Keep up the good work.
Thank you
so
very
much,
much,
sir.
sir.
Yeah.
And just to keep track on the conversation that he just mentioned, the protesters, as we mentioned, were in Abuja. In the case of Abuja, we had Omoyele Showore, a leader of the movement, and Deji Adeyanju, human rights lawyer, who were seen leading the protest in Abuja, resisting attempts of police officers to take them off the street. We'll take another call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Ben.
Kudos to this analyst. God will bless him.
Amen.
And this last caller,
Mm.
they are the people I like listening to. Because Nigeria, we are docile. I don't know why. Why things are happening in America and other Western countries is because of the people. It's not because people are afraid of Trump or anything. Why things are working in all these developed countries is because they fear the people. Why their constitution is working is the people. Then Nigeria, anything we swallow it. Anything we take it, we move on. Everything we move on, we move on. Look at the way people are saying. It is not good. And people could not come out to defend. Look at America. Do you know the type of protest that's going on in America? Can you compare the economy now with our own? All the policies of Trump is all about America. Goodness of America. And it's working for them. Yet they came out and they are protesting everywhere. And police does not tear gas them. Look at in Katsina yesterday. They abducted about 59 people were kidnapped from Katsina community yesterday. Just yesterday night. Why did the police go there and throw tear gas? And Nigerians are dying, suffering of bad government. This is the worst government in the history of Nigeria. If they had thrown tear gas in that Katsina, those terrorists will run away. Go to Zamfara now. Tojibelo is there. Military told us that they are covering up on Tojibelo. And Tojibelo came and celebrated Salah. After Salah, he was just going on. Gallantly, he was going back. Gallantly, he just killed 11 farmers. And the military told us they are covering up. What is happening in Nigeria? Nigerians need to come out, join and protest. Let us defend our country. Let us defend our country.
Thank you.
This APC, I don't know. This last caller said they are caught. And you said that they are not caught.
I didn't say they are or they are not. I say we cannot put it out there until it is verified. So that is a claim.
I have verified it now.
You cannot verify
You cannot
it
verify
like
it.
that, sir.
Verified, Mr. Ben.
But
You don't
thank you,
want me to
Mr. Ben.
I have verified it.
You cannot verify it. Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much,
much, Mr. Ben.
We do not like to offend sensibilities. We like to make sure that what we are saying are things that can be verified. They are facts and
yes.
not, insinuations. We have to be careful to do that. So we're giving you the news as it is and not as we would like to indicate or insinuate it is. Thank you. Mr. Nzengwa Loma Nzengwa is still in the studio with us. And yes, we're looking at the protest yesterday, defying the police's warning not to protest across states. And, whether we like it or not, when things happen in the US, they have a ripple effect on countries across the world. And Nigeria is one of those countries because we are importers, exporters, and general merchandise. So let's talk about the tariffs. They're non-oil tariffs. So some are saying, oh, this wouldn't affect Nigeria that much. And some are saying, no way, it just might. The US tariffs on Nigeria is posing destabilizing challenges to the non-oil sector. But before we go on, let's take another call.
Hello, good morning. Or you may need to call us back. 0705 6900927 is the number to call and send us a WhatsApp message.
Okay, so the federal government is saying that the recent 14% tariff imposed on Nigeria's exports to the United States presents destabilizing challenges to price competitiveness and market access in the non-oil sector. Okay, we'll take a call and then we'll come back to this. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. I'm Mr. Chike.
Thank you for calling, Mr. Chike. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Victoria Island.
Welcome to the Spotlight. Please go ahead.
Okay, I've been listening to the conversation before now.
Yes.
And you see, that state before now hasn't been in such crisis. That is very, very peaceful. Yeah, I'm from River State of Port Harcourt.
Okay.
You understand? For the president to impose this state of emergency is something I don't like because I don't see anything wrong in River State that he would impose state of emergency and start making the people suffer. And to state this, protest is one of the rights of the individuals in Nigeria. It's constitutional. So if they come out to protest and say that this act that the president has imposed on them, military regime, like other speakers have said, is very, very right. It's not for you to call the police and tell them to start tear gas people. Yesterday I was seeing posts from different angles. People were running. People even got injured. Their legs broken and all the rest of it. It's not good. It's unfair. Yes? It's unfair. She stop this thing that he's doing and just call up this state of emergency and let everything reverse it. State of emergency will be halting so many economic activities going on in the state. and bringing down the state economy down. It's not to any gain.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, you can still comment on anything regarding the protest. We're still looking at the protest, but we're also looking at another story that is concerning Nigerians, especially because, Nigerians, there's a saying that there is not a country in this world you will not find a Nigerian. We are scattered all over. And so one of the things that we export are food.
Yes.
Crayfish, dry fish,
Palm oil.
You take it, we eat
We
it.
have African
they
markets
have it.
in the United States.
Across the world.
Across the world.
Even in places you never imagined. So the federal government is saying that the 14%, recent 14% tariff imposed on Nigeria's export to the United States presents destabilizing challenges to price competitiveness and market access in the non-oil sector. Of course, this is coming after the president of the United States, Trump, announced a sweeping global tariffs on all imports in the country, placing 14% on Nigeria. Is 14% too much? Is this a problem? Should we be scared? Should we be worried?
It's okay. Now you see, you see that we're in a system, global system. Saying that what happens in America, whether it affects us or it doesn't affect us, is trying to ignore the fact that once you're in a system, anything that happens to any element of that system will affect all the elements of the system and the system itself. Also, what happens in Nigeria is not just in that Trump said or another person has said. What happens in Nigeria also affects what happens in the U.S. because we're all in the system.
Okay.
That's why you see that when you start certain misbehavior in certain aspects of your country, the global community will not keep quiet because what happens here affects all. In the same way, now let's go to the U.S. imposing 14% tariff on all imports as per their side and then export on our side.
On our side.
I think I took up a question on this and I said, this is more like a tax, an indirect tax. You are imposing taxation. It's more on your people than on the exporter
True.
here. The exporter pays you the money. As government, you collect the money for the export. The exporter goes ahead, depending on the elasticity of the nature of the elasticity demand and supply of that particular product.
Right.
If it's a product that you could push the entire tax to the consumer, you push the entire tax to the consumer. The only that the price of that product goes
be
up
high.
in that country. So it affects their own inflation rate. So whatever thing they are doing is not just for here. But if the product is for something that a little push in the price will affect the demand, then the supplier, now the exporter, begins to think of how will you do. You have to absorb the entire increment or entire tax on it. So it's not something that you start panicking. The only thing you look at the nature of the products, possibly the ones that you know that they need is as a matter of necessity. You increase the supply of those ones. If now the ones that you think that look, there are more luxuries. If you increase the price, nobody buys. Then you can reduce the supply of those things. It's a matter of economic management. You don't need to panic over it. There are advantages and disadvantages. Besides, the U.S. policies are beyond the control of any other nation. Just like the Nigerian policies are beyond the control of U.S. as a country. All you need to do is to watch out. What are the benefits of that policy? What are the advantages and disadvantages? What are the threats that those advantages, because as it's bringing up some threats, it's also bringing out opportunities. You take the opportunities and avoid the threats. That is what you should do. Instead of crying, the U.S. should roll out their policies and then we should see how we will respond when it is possible and necessary for us. Not even on terms of diplomacy alone. You don't just go there, they say you want to do a diplomatic response and then you now shoot yourself. You could hurt them because I said the effect is that it's going to increase and affect the inflation rate in the U.S. if you keep quiet and then continue doing your business.
Okay, so the U.S. we found out that the U.S. imported